What is up, hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack all of our Web3 education. If you guys are brand new here, stick around to the end for a bonus. Slap a like on this video if you like everything Web3, and be subscribed with notifications on for every fire video that I drop. Now, in this episode, I have a special treat for you guys. I've teamed up with Tezos. I reached out to them after I heard what they've been cooking up with smart rollups, and I wanted to talk about it. A decentralized network like Tezos, which is effectively the internet. It's the next version of the internet, and they are doing it in a really interesting, compatible way with not having a bunch of hardware. Because when you think of decentralization, you think of a bunch of people running a bunch of different either mining rigs or nodes, and they're taking the brunt of the computing power. And with decentralization, it's kind of a tricky balance of figuring out, okay, these people all have heavy machinery. How do we lower the barrier to entry so that everybody can be involved and they don't need all of that heavy machinery to operate nodes and help support and govern this decentralized network? And that's where rollups come in. So the term rollup comes from the term fruit rollup. Just kidding. The term rollup actually comes from rolling up multiple computations into one. And that's just the origin of it. A lot of people talk about ZK, zero knowledge rollups, and a lot of people talk about a lot of different types of them. Tezos has pioneered these smart optimistic rollups, and it's less weight on the L1 protocol itself. So if 1 million transactions per second, which I will get to in a minute, that they have successfully done TPS-wise on Tezos, the only way that it can be done is through high throughput with a very light load. And through these rollups where multiple computations are taking place and only a hash, a simple hash, is being sent back to the L1 chain. Super simplification of what's going on. But on the front end, you get to see this magic take place. On the back end, hundreds of brilliant engineers have designed this. Why am I talking about this today? Smart rollups are just the tip of the iceberg. They're a huge innovation and a move in the right direction where all this computation can be done and a simple hash can be called back to the layer one. Scale is a big problem in the space. Everyone is trying different approaches, all while trying not to bog down the people that are operating these nodes to try and support the network, because ultimately that hinders and constrains decentralization. Our goal is to have a bunch of millions and millions and millions of people supporting these decentralized networks and allowing people to transact in a decentralized manner across this network. But it's just this crazy balancing act. So cool technologies like smart rollups come into the picture where they can do things off chain. Part of these transactions are going to be taking place off chain with all of these different operators taking place, and then that hash comes back. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this is because Tezos successfully did 1 million transactions per second in a demo. This was done because of their breakthrough technologies with smart rollups, and just they have been pushing the limit over and over and over again. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Solana and how that is the winner of this next bull market because they are boasting about 1 million transaction per second moments, but ultimately Tezos is out here doing it, and they have done this demo, and I'll link to it below so you guys can check it out. It's pretty awesome to see this happen. And being able to hit scale with this level of transactions is a breakthrough. And a lot of people have talked about, decentralization and how it's going to accomplish all of these things, but if it can't reach scale and millions of people can't transact on it, you've not really moved the needle in the right direction towards the mainstream. Last one that I want to talk about is a doozy. This is where the decentralization comes into the picture with the DAL and DAC. This is the Data Availability Committee. And this is where we're going to offload a lot of what I was talking about before with the stress on that L1 protocol. The DAL stands for the Data Availability Layer, and then the DAC stands for Data Availability Committee. Okay, so I'm going to walk through the committee first, and then I'll talk about the Data Availability Layer. So the solution is designed to enhance the throughput. This is how they're able to accomplish the 1 million transactions per second, is through these two pieces of key ingredients to scale. Now, smart rollups store data off chain. As we talked about before, that immense amount of computation is taking place off chain, and it's just sending a simple hash back to the L1 that is allowing for massive amounts of throughput to go in. And that rollup is computing a bunch of things and then just doing one in return on the L1. Instead of receiving the data directly from Tezos blocks, rollup nodes access transaction payloads from the DAC members, bypassing Tezos block size limitations. So to restate that, these members that are operating, these operators of a bunch of computational power, they are able to take these transactions and these payloads and basically bypass the limitations of the chain. And I think that this type of methodology is going to be used for a lot of different blockchains. And that's the exciting part about the experiment that is Web3, is innovations like this can translate across the entire space. Now, and they're going to be able to see, okay, I could do something like this for my layer 1 blockchain. I could figure out how I could have members, how we could do something with rollups, and how we could figure out how to really just offload some of this crazy bogged down transaction payloads that are going through my layer 1. And this is just a creative solution to it. And it's very brilliant how it's laid out. Now for the DAL, the data availability layer. This stores data and provides guarantees about its availability by relying on the layer 1 consensus, i.e. the backers. Continuously monitor the DAL and attest on layer 1 whether a given piece of data is available on the data availability layer. So these people are continuously the trusted people that are saying, hey, this is what it says it is, and this is what is available, and they are verifying. So you have the availability layer, people are verifying that, and then you have the data availability committee who are bypassing the throughput and the block size limitation. These are solving the challenges that any protocol, including Tezos, are going to have around scaling up. These really are a beautiful design and allowing them to bypass any limitations and hit that 1 million transactions per second. So I think that there's a couple different comparisons that we could draw here, Celestia and Near. So comparing DAL of Tezos to those two is fair. I think I've seen a lot going on with Near. A lot of people in the comments and in my DMs have talked about Near, and the data availability layer is very much close to Near. As from what I can tell, what I've researched and what I could find, I think that that's probably the first and foremost comparison you guys could draw. And to recap, the things that you're going to want to watch out for over the next 6 months on Tezos and in general projects that are monitoring this closely are the smart rollups and the brilliance there to allow for some of the data going off chain to offload some of the stress of the L1. The 1 million transaction per second demo that I'll link below that you guys can check out. Really incredible. The engineers and the development team at Tezos pulled that off. And then the DAL and the DAC. These two are very key, and of course the partnerships. And that is it for this video. The links to everything will be in the description below. Follow Tezos on Twitter. Definitely check them out on YouTube as well. Been around for a really long time, and this is an incredible piece of tech that they have built out. This is really viewed as pure technology. It is a lot of people contributing from all over the world, all the biggest developers, and shout outs to some of these big people that I followed recently, the Nomadic Labs, Trilitech, Marigold, Oxhead Alpha, Functory, Teriads, and Dilambda. I mean, some of these are awesome. I've been following them closely, and they are by far just amazing, and they're below the radar. So definitely check them out as well on social media because they're crushing it with really cool innovations like these smart rollups. So that is it for this episode. Slap a like on this video if you like this sort of technical overview content. Be sure to check out Tezos, and I will see you here on the next episode of Hack Crypto.